5%? 5%? Oh my God. The world's coming to an end. I think the market is definitely going to crash now. Can you smell the sarcasm? Look, rates will affect our market. By how much? Well, that's the million-dollar question. Because this is such an important topic, rather than make a 15-minute long video here, I'm actually going to break this month's video into two parts. This part is going to handle the typical analytics, while the second part will take a deep dive into how interest rates truly affect housing. I promise you, after you watch that video, you'll look at the market a bit differently. It might just scare the hell out of you if you're a potential buyer. Okay, now before we get into those pesky interest rates, let's first see how our market performed last month so we can see what direction we're already heading towards. First up are last month's sales. Last month, we sold 3,050 homes. While this was a huge 29% increase over February sales, it was a 13% decline from March of last year. Now, on one hand, saying that March sales increased over February is like stating, I think Will Smith's career might be in trouble. It's borderline rhetorical. Going back 10 years, there's never been a March where sales weren't above February. It's kind of how this whole real estate thing works. Now, what is of interest is that we sold 13% less homes than last year. If you're jumping the gun and blaming that on a lack of inventory, spoiler alert, you are wrong. So far, every month this year has underperformed last year. It's a bit early to hit the panic button, but it's also worth noting. It's also worth noting that comparing this year to one of the greatest years in real estate history is completely unrealistic. Okay, let's see what effect poor sales had on the median price. Like most things nowadays, this doesn't make any damn sense either. As you can see on the screen now, in spite of poor sales, the median price rose 12 grand, up to $465,000. A 3% monthly increase and a whopping 27% increase over just 1 year ago. Okay, now let's check in with our barometer. I say that because monitoring inventory levels is a huge indicator of direction. If inventory remains consistently low, people will continue to fight over inventory. Now, if it starts swelling and demand remains consistent, people will be fighting a little bit less and a little bit less. Now, as this relationship loosens, less and less buyers will feel the need to overpay for properties. In return, this will stabilize median prices. So enough teases, let's see what's up. You can see that we ended March with just over 1,900 homes on the market. This was a 3% increase over February. So while small, we did make some progress. But real quick, I'd like to discuss direction, specifically moving forward. Now, March 24th of last year was the peak of our inventory shortage. After March, our inventory went up every single month until we hit October. In general, this is just how our market works. Even though sales go up, more and more people put their homes on the market. Now, as a spoiler alert, I can tell you that in the first week of this month, our inventory jumped about 13% in just 1 week. 1 week. Last April, our inventory rose 4% for the month. We just tripled that in the first week of April. Now, as I've said in the past year, inventory is our largest predictor of direction. 1 week, 1 month, it doesn't necessarily mean anything. But if this hyper trend continues for a few months, we may see our market finally to start shifting. Okay, with inventory swelling but still low, prices continuing to rise, and interest rates rapidly increasing, let's see what effect this had on our housing absorption. As a reminder, this statistic I created shows the relationship between supply and demand throughout different price ranges. What effect do interest rates have on first-time homebuyers versus luxury homebuyers? Let's see. First up are homes priced between $250,000 to $500,000. This is literally 50% of our entire market. We sank from 77% absorption in February to 72% last month. Next, we have $500,000 to $750,000. we dropped from 59% to 56%. Now we saw the largest drop in the $750,000 to $1 million price range. We dropped 9% from 59 to 50. Next, let's look at luxury. From 1 million to 1.5 million, we dropped 8% from 56 to 48. Finally, we have the ultra luxury market of over 1.5 million. And now that market didn't even budge. We remained consistent at 34%. Overall, we have a 62% absorption rate. So if you're looking at homes online, 3 out of 5 homes are already under contract. Compared to last year, we had a 71% absorption rate. So there's really no way around it. The market is significantly less competitive overall than it was the same time last year. The reality is that it just depends on your price range and the location. A $500,000 home in Summerlin or Green Valley is going to be barbecue chicken in a matter of days. Meanwhile, a $1 million home in North Las Vegas, that might take some time to sell right now. Okay, now that we got all the analytics out of the way, let's talk briefly about interest rates for a quick second. By now, we all know that rates have hit 5%. It's commonly discussed that rates will cool the housing market down. But it's important to understand how it affects the overall market. It's equally important to look out for dangerous alternatives that compensate for these higher rates. Essentially, there's just a lot more to it than just an interest rate adjustment. So either click above for a link to part 2 or click the link in the description below. Trust me, you're here watching this channel for a reason. This may be one of the best takes I've had on real estate. So thanks for watching. Click through for part 2. Hey, that even rhymed. And be sure to subscribe. Have a wonderful April, everyone.